All right, so good afternoon and welcome to our live lab for today. It's doing some type of transcription thing that is distracting me, so I've got to stop that. Okay, there we go. All right, so welcome to today's live lab. Today we are going to go over some basic office stuff. I've got one little slide to share that's just going to help y'all out regardless of whether you go to work in a medical office or any office. This may be some real basic information, and some of y'all might be thinking, why is she even saying this to me? This is common knowledge, because it's not common knowledge for everybody. I've got some students who've never worked in an office before, young and old. I've got some that are fresh out of high school and never had a job before. All right. So they have no idea about office protocols or the best things to do or things that could save them time. And I've got some students that are older, 50 years old, and have been stay-at-home moms for the last 20 years and are breaking out into the workforce after 20 years of technical advancement that has been going on while they were at home with their kids. So I think this is going to be important and very valuable for you guys today. I will go ahead and share. Share. There we go. All right. So can we see this that says basic office skills? Awesome. All right. So these are going to be, again, important skills to brush up on that will help you in any position. And some of this, guys, is just tips and tricks, things to help you out, be a little bit more efficient, um, and just help you out in general. Okay. And some of it is basic office stuff that if you've never worked in an office, you wouldn't know. Like this first one. And this is one that probably 75% of my students come to me and don't know what this means because I ask them to do it and either they don't do it because they don't know what it is and are afraid to ask me, hey, what is that? I'm not sure what that is. Um, which brings me to a point, guys. If I ever ask y'all to do something and you don't know what it is, I don't know that you don't know unless you tell me. And if you don't know, don't be embarrassed about that. I'm here to teach you these things that you don't know. Okay. So please be comfortable enough coming to me and asking me how to do these things or ask me to clarify what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get butthurt or aggravated or anything like that. I'm here to teach you guys and help you. Okay. So the first thing we're going to talk about is CCing on an email or carbon copying is what this called. Okay. So um, in Microsoft Outlook, and I'm going to pop it up without trying to give you guys too much private information. Let me see if I can switch it to a screen where, okay, it's not showing y'all any vital Unitech stuff. All right, so are we seeing my little email inbox there? All right, I'm in Microsoft Outlook. Okay. And let's say that I need to send, we're going to say Michelle because she's right here. I'm going to click new email in Outlook. And depending on the app that you use or the computer system, guys, your Outlook may look a little bit different than mine. Okay. And that's okay. But they're going to function the same way. So when I click new email, it's going to hop me up this little screen where I can type in a fresh one. All right. All right. So you see over here how we have two. This is whoever I'm sending this email to, and then right below it there's CC, and then right below that is BCC, and number 2 on our skills list was BCC. All right, so let's say I'm sending an email to Michelle. Michelle, I hope you don't mind your email address being up there. All right, and let's say this is something having to do with academics and I need documentation, or I need to see why my A on this conversation with Michelle, right? I need to have documentation or proof that it happened. I'm going to CC our carbon copy, Miss Marcia, on that. Okay. And that is going to basically, this email is to Michelle, but it's going to get sent to Marcia too. Miss Marcia's going to know that she'll be able to see that I sent this email to Michelle at this time. All right. Now, I may also BCC instead of carbon copying, because anybody you carbon copy, the original recipient, whoever the two is, can see that. They can see who you carbon copy to. So if you don't want them to know that you're carbon copying somebody, you're going to use BCC, blind carbon copy. All right. So let's say I'm going to send this to Marcia, but I'm also going to send it to Marcia's supervisor, Jacob. But I don't want anybody to know that Jacob's going to see this. I got Jacob in on this. I'm CYing my A all the way around. All right. With that blind carbon copy. All right. But that's what that is. CC and BCC. Carbon copy and blind carbon copy. Now, I am not sure if all email applications on phones have that function. I'm not sure. I don't know. I very rarely email from my phone. I'm a very much a desktop, laptop, computer user type person. But that's what those two things are. So when I ask you to CC, you're just going to include me in on it. And look, anytime I tell you to CC me, you don't have to blind CC me. Just regular CC me. Because if I tell you to CC me, it's going to somebody in the Unitech organization, and I want them to know that I'm paying attention. I want them to know that there's other eyes on that email, so they'll get to you faster. That's why I ask y'all to CC me on stuff. And also so I can keep track of where you guys are at. If y'all are having an issue, I can keep track of that. Okay. All right. So something else to be aware of when you have more than, and I didn't put this on the thing because I didn't think about it, but now that I'm here, we're going to talk about it. And that is, what was I just about to do? Subject. Well, shoot, I had something in my head and I just forgot it. Oh, reply and reply all. That's what it was. Reply and reply all. If your organization, which mine does, Unitech will send out blast emails to everybody in the company. All right. When you're in an email, you want to save your changes? No. All right. Up here where you have your message, there's reply, and then right next to it is reply all. All right. So, because this particular email went to 5 different individuals. All right. So let's say that I want to reply just to Danielle, who was the original sender. I'm just going to click reply. But if I want everybody that's in that thread or that got sent that email to be able to see me ask her that question or whatever, then you click reply all. All right. But be aware of which one you're clicking. All right. Sometimes I will send an email to, like, really the only time I ever do it is when I have a group of new students. They all get the same welcome email at the same time. I send it to all of them at the same time. If they click reply all the other new students are going to see what they're asking me when they email me. And sometimes that happens because they don't know any different. So just be aware of when you're clicking reply or reply all. And also there's the forward function in email. If a student sends me an ugly email, I'm going to forward it to Miss Marcia. And I'm going to type something and say, hey, receive this from student. Just want to make you aware of situation. All right. So that's forward. All right. So I'm actually going to bring up that new email thing again, because one of the other deals that was on our skills list was email signatures. And I noticed I have a ton of you guys that shoot me emails from your phones. And here's what I want y'all to understand. An email is not a dang text message. It needs a signature. It needs a salutation, a greeting, and it needs a signature. especially when you are emailing or communicating with somebody about schoolwork or job. Anything professional, you need to be having a signature on your email. And you can see mine here. They're on everything I send y'all because you can set it up to automatically apply it to every time you open up a new email, it'll automatically be there for you. It's not stuff that you have to type out. All right. And Unitech, they send us, this is how we want your signature. This every year we get an updated logo to attach to that signature. It gets updated. All right. And actually, I need to update mine because mine is wrong right now. My title is wrong. But you see, it has my name, it has my title, it has the company that I work for, it has my phone number and my email address. That is the way your stuff should be set up. When you're applying for jobs and things like that, of course, you don't need to put your title or the company you work for, but make sure that your contact information is there. Okay. Um, and this is for multiple reasons, especially if you are emailing somebody that you don't know. Put the signature. How else are they supposed to know who you are and who they're talking to and how they should respond back to you? They need to know that information, okay? Um, so that's what an email signature is, and it's very important that you attach one to any emails you send, okay? And just remember when you're doing stuff from your phone that it's gonna, unless you go in there and change the settings or delete it when you send the email, the other person is gonna be able to know that you sent it from your phone. It's gonna say sent from Android or sent from iPhone or whatever. So go in there and change those settings if you need to, set yourself up a signature. All right. So that covers carbon copy, blind carbon copy, and email signatures. So the next thing I'm going to show y'all or tell y'all about, and most of y'all are going to know about this already, is copy and paste. All right. It's just going to save you a lot of time. It's just going to save you a lot of stinking time. All right. And let me explain to you and show you why this is. All right. So let's say that you're a billing person and you need to send, you found this one procedure that has been being denied for a couple of months, and you've got like 10 appeal letters that you need to send off. All right. So, and this leads into file organization. All right. I am actually going to minimize most of everything and share my desktop with y'all so we can get into this. All right. Can you see my desktop? All right. So this is my pretty little desktop. And it's kind of crowded right now. I've got a lot of junk. I'm usually a little bit more organized than this. But here's what I want to tell you guys about file organization in your computers. All right, I need you to think of your computer like a filing cabinet that holds a bunch of documents. All right, and this desktop that you open up to every time is full of shortcuts to inside of that filing cabinet. Everything that you see in front of you is a shortcut to something in that filing cabinet, whether that be an app, a piece of software, or a document, a picture, whatever. Okay. It could be a shortcut to a website. We can do that these days. And I have a couple on here. You can see that I have my recycle bin up in the corner for whenever I need to throw stuff away. And then I have all my software. Okay. And I've got like 2 lines of software. This is all stuff that I use on an all the time basis. I have more software on this computer than this. I don't use it, so it's not here. All right. And let me explain this to you too. The more stuff that you have on your desktop computer or on your desktop wallpaper, the more things that are crowded on here, the slower your computer is going to start up because it's got to make all these connections. It's got to find all these connections for you and bring them to the forefront. Okay. So it's going to slow down your computer the more stuff you have on your desktop. And you'll see next to my applications, I've got a few like websites that are Unitech based. That's stuff that I use for work a lot. You may have, once you go to work, your your company's website on there, their IT department. Like here I have Unitech Help Desk, Unitech Portal, which I'll be honest with y'all, I haven't been able to get that link to work for a minute now. And I still haven't gotten any updates as to when that'll be fixed. But I've got that, and then I've got files. Okay. And y'all can see that I've got a bunch of different files. There's one for me, because that's personal things. Like if Unitech sends me an employee evaluation, or if I ever have to provide them, like originally I had to provide my ID. I needed to email them my ID. Well, all those kinds of documents are in the file with my name. Okay. I have one for coding workshops. I have one for progress reports. When I send you guys out progress reports, I've got to have all of this in here. And then at the bottom, a file within a file. I've got them broken up April, June, and there should be a May, but I'm behind on that, so that's okay. And it'll go on, right? So whenever I'm ready to work on progress reports, I don't have to go searching through stuff to find documents. I can just go right here, click on my progress reports, and there we go. In fact, I have this document that I made, progress report master. It's a Word document. Let's see, can you see that? All right. So that's a Word document that I just typed up in Word. And that's the master. I titled it progress report.master because that's the document that every time I go to type up a progress report, I'm gonna open this one, right? I'm gonna type up what I need to, and then I'm going to save as. Instead of save it, because I don't want to save over my master, I want to keep my master. So I'm going to save as. And then I'm going to pick which folder I want to put it in. So let's say I'm working on June 2025 progress reports, which is what I did yesterday. That's why it's up here in yesterday. I want to put it in that folder because that's what I'm working on. It's going to have all of my ones that I did and saved yesterday right there. I'm going to rename it because, again, I don't want to save over my master, right? So I'm going to put whatever student it is, blah, 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 and the date. It's whatever my format for naming that file is, that's what I'm going to do. Now, I'm going to cancel this because I don't want to save it. But that's how you keep a master document that you can use, kind of like a template for all the things that you do, right? So that's how you can organize your documents. And see, when I made this, when I saved it, I was in a hurry, so I just saved it to my desktop so I could find it and organize it later. So I'm just going to drag this over here because it really needs to go in my progress reports folder, right? Okay. So that is a little bit on file organization. All right. So most everybody, when they have your desktop open, you've got some stuff pinned down here to your bar. They call that your bar. And you can pin things to your bar or unpin them to your bar, depending on what you use the most. Okay. So I use the internet a whole dang lot. So I've got my Google Chrome extension there, and I've got this file folders thing here because this is how you find your files and your stuff, right? All right, so this is my downloads folder, but you'll see that, all right, so if your desktop is like the memo board, the bulletin board for everything that's in your filing cabinet, this is how you dig through that filing cabinet. You go to this little file down here, and it's going to give you all the locations in your computer of where you can save things, all right? And this quick access is going to be at the top. And all this is all the stuff that you have used the most recently. And you can see that June 2025, I was all over that yesterday. So that's in my quick access for right now. All right. A lot of the time, I download a lot of stuff. So I work out of my downloads folder. And you can see yesterday I updated the tab pick for our meetings thing. That's in there. I do the attendance report every morning for the online campus. So I did that this morning. If I needed to save these documents to keep them forever, I would simply drag them out and put them wherever I needed them to go. Okay. But otherwise, they're going to be here in this downloads folder. These are all different types of folders and places to save things. Okay. And you can see, I can see everything that's on my desktop. If I need to get to something from there, I can do that. All my tile graphics that I make in Canva for Moodle, I have all those saved. So when I need to upload a new one or I make a new one, I have that there. Virtual backgrounds that I use for Zoom meetings, I have a file folder of those. But this is all so that I can get to stuff quickly and easily. And like I was saying, say I had to back to copy and paste, how that adds into this, okay? How that fits in. Let's say that I have a bunch of students about to grad out and I need to email them. Well, and please y'all, I hope this does not hurt your feelings for me to tell y'all this, but I do use templates on emails and stuff because I send so many of the same ones to all of my students that have to contain the same information. It would take me a ton of time to send this out, to type this out to every student. So what I'm going to do, I have it typed up in a document, congratulations grad, right? And I have it saved in a correspondence folder right there on my thing. All right, so copy and paste. You can go about this two different ways. You can, and here's another thing. If you're working on a laptop and you have one of those little pads that you have to do by your finger, usually the right click is the bottom right corner of that little pad, and the left click is the bottom left corner of that little pad. If you're working on a laptop and you have that pad, it annoys the snot out of me. Wireless mouse, right click, left click, okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is I am just going to open this document. I'm going to highlight all of this. I am going to right click and I'm going to click copy. All right. Then I'm going to come back over here. All right. Did the email transfer over? You can see that? All right. I'm going to click right here into this email and I can do one of two things. I can either right click again and click paste and it's going to stick it there, everything that I wanted to copy. Or if you want to use your keyboard shortcuts, it's Control V to paste. Control V. And it pastes. And there I go. And I just have I fill in my person I'm sending it to. I send in the I put in the subject. Congratulations. I know I spelled that wrong, but that's okay. And I can send it. And then I can bring up a new one and I can copy and paste, put in the sender, send it, bring up a new one, copy and paste, send it. All right. Same thing if you're doing appeal letters, etc. All right. Now, depending on what you're working on, appeal letters, you're going to have to change out. You can use a template, but there's going to be some information that you have to change out, like claim numbers, bill amounts, etc. Account numbers, patient name, etc. You'll have to change all those things out. But you see how having that template document saved, easy to access. I have a bunch of emails or documents or whatever that I need to send out. I've got that. I've got a master, I've got a template, and I can copy and paste the crap out of everything, right? All right, so let's say the last thing I think was on that, our deal. Let me bring it up just to make sure. That's copy and paste. Yeah, and the keyboard shortcuts for that are Control C. You would still just highlight everything you want to do, and you would press Control plus C button at the same time, and that'll copy what you're doing, and then Control plus the V button, and it'll paste it wherever you want to paste it. Okay? All right, so that's carbon copy, blind carbon copy, copy and paste, email signatures, and some file organization. Last thing we're going to talk about is the screen snip. All right. So let's delete this, and let's say that I need, because this is a real thing. I'm gonna delete this too. All right, so let's say that my boss, stop sharing for a second. This is a real life situation that I've actually had to deal with in the last 2 days. Our new boss, Mr. Jacob, has assigned us, Unitech makes all their employees sign up for LinkedIn. It's a great thing for corporate connections and job connections and things like that. But there's an educational aspect to LinkedIn called LinkedIn Learning for organizations. And it's all about professional development. Different ways to de-escalate a situation, or how to add more views to your presentation if you're teaching online, stuff like that they want us to take, that will just help us in our job. So right now I am having this issue. I can't log into LinkedIn Learning. Every time I try, I get a dang error. All right, so but he's assigned this and given me a deadline of which I need to have this completed. So I can't complete what I've been ordered to complete. So what I had to do was I had to go online to LinkedIn and try to log in, and it will not let me. So what I did was, and I'm going to show you what I did here. Let me minimize some windows. Get back to my original desktop. All right, so let's say, all right, so this is actually my cases. You see this created 2 days ago, modified 2 days ago. They haven't answered me in 2 days. So what I'm going to do, I wanted to let my boss know that, hey, I got your email. I'm trying to do the assignment, but I can't. I wanted to send them proof of that. So here's, this is the greatest thing in computers. All right. I love this little option. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to, you see where down at the bottom corner of your screen in the right, you have a little notification settings, okay? If you click on that notification settings, that's usually where you can turn on and off your Wi-Fi, put it in airplane mode, hotspot, stuff like that. Some computers, and not all of them, but some of them, most of the Windows units, have this option down here called screen snip. Can y'all see that? And I can't see if y'all can see that, what you're telling me, but when you click screen snip, Michelle, can you tell me if you can see that?
Yes, I can see it. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, so what I did was you click screen snip, and it gives you this little cursor, and you can select what of the screen, and I just did this because they didn't need to know about my old cases. Let it go, and it makes you a picture. You click on the picture, and it opens up a picture of your screen. So all you have to do up here, you can save it. You can either save it to usually I save them to my desktop first, and then I'll file it away if I think I need it later. But I'll go ahead and save it to the desktop just so I have it for later. But then this button right next to it is copy. Okay. But there's other options over here too. Highlight, draw. So let's say I wanted to make sure that my boss saw that I started this 2 days ago. I'm going to click this little pin button and I'm going to circle it. I'm going to do something like circle it. That looks kind of funky. So I may just like do something like that. Notice 2 days ago, right? Save it, or I can press copy. All right. So when I press copy, which is the same thing as copy and paste copy, I can bring up this email to my boss and say, hey, I'm not able to do this. Control V. Bam. puts the picture in the email for me. I've got automatic proof to my boss that I'm trying, but here's a picture that I can't. And a lot of times, guys, when you're doing like you're having a chat with some support people and you're getting thrown errors, they will ask you to send a picture of the error message. That's what this is for. Screen snip, you can screen snip that error. That's what I did for LinkedIn. Watch, I'm gonna minimize this. I'll show you guys this. LinkedIn Learning Solutions. My case is open. The last message was me sending them that picture of the error message. And thank you so much for looking into this. That was 2 days ago. They haven't done anything about it. So that is Screen Snip. And I use that, y'all, daily. Daily. And
I
not
have
only
a little, there's a shortcut on the keyboard for doing the same thing. It's print screen.
print screen, yep.
Yeah, it
Not
does the
all
same.
keyboards have them.
Right, right.
Right. Not all keyboards have them usually. Now, we'll say this. Like my laptop that I'm working on here doesn't have a print screen button by itself, but if you press like there's an FN button, if you press FN and then like what let's see, print screen F10, if you click those at the same time, it does print screen. So some of your buttons, that's a good point, Michelle, are multifunction. Y'all, there are keyboard shortcuts where you really don't ever have to touch a mouse if you don't want to. But I like my mouse. I like my mouse. But yeah, excellent point, Michelle. Excellent point. Yes. But I screen snip stuff every day, all the time. I send it to students when they need, you know, I can't find this. I'll print, screenshot the page, circle where they need to be looking, and I'll shoot it to them right quick. It can save you a lot of time, and it's an easy way to see why you're A if you're being asked to do something and you're not able to. Okay. And you can also do the same thing, like if you pull up, say, an EOB on a website and for whatever reason you can't download it, but you want to keep that information documented in the patient's file, you can screen snip what you're looking at and save it into the file in the documentation or in the notes or something. So just extra coverage, extra coverage. And I not only use that in work, guys, I use it in my personal life too. I actually use Screen Snip for a lot of stuff. I find funny stuff on Facebook or memes or whatever, and like screenshot them suckers and blast them out to my family or whatever. So yeah, but yeah, I'm off a share. All right, so that ran a little bit longer than I expected it would, but I think that is a lot of helpful information to get you guys going on the basic office skills front. Michelle, since you're the only one with me, do you have any questions about anything you need clarification on with anything that we talked about?
I was kind of adding my signature as we were going over it. Sometimes I'll see people have like a nice quote
Mm-hmm.
that's in their signature. Is it professional or unprofessional to have like a good quote
It
in your
depends on the
signature?
quote.
Yeah.
It depends on the quote. You want to keep it professional. Never in a professional email, don't put a quote that is one religious or two political. Those are the two hot buttons that you want to stay out of your job work life altogether. Your political views, your religious beliefs. And I would take that a step further and say your sexual orientation. Because here's the thing about office and professional and this and that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, and nobody really cares. And it can cause strife. Anytime you don't agree with somebody on something, it opens up for somebody to feel a certain type of way about you. So you just keep everything work and professional and as low key. Keep your personal life personal, your professional life professional. You can put, I like to put inspirational quotes sometimes. Miss Marsha always likes to put a little inspirational quote on hers. And there's actually a lot of the upper management in Unitech has like teacher educational quotes, and great teachers make great whatever, remember. So yeah, great question. Great question. A lot of people do keep put quotes, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it expressing a little bit of your personality through something positive and professional. Great question. So was all of this stuff that we went over today kind of basic stuff for you, or was there anything new that you learned that you
Well,
didn't know before?
I did not know what CC and BCC stood for. I knew what they did.
But you didn't actually
And
know what they stood for.
yeah, and I've definitely had a reply all situation that wasn't, terribly bad, but just
Right.
wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
And it's good to refresh and double check and make sure you're on top of your email game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you also like I know you and I have been talking a lot about job searching and stuff like that. And when you're reaching out to people um online, it's just like you got to think of that email. It's just like when they meet you face to face for the first time. That first impression, that first contact with you is what they're going to base everything else off of. So if you're a hot mess in your email, they're going to expect the hot mess in person and probably not even going to give you the time. Okay. But if you have an email that sounds good and it looks good and they ain't got to wonder about nothing, everything's there. And it's like, wow, she's got it together. I'm gonna give her that time. It's making that impression that first time when it comes to the job stuff. And that's what, it is not fair. And I'll be the first person that's like, don't judge me. You don't know me. And I'm outside of work. I am a jeans and t-shirt girl. I am in a vintage band t-shirt and some holy baggy jeans and some Converse sandals, and my hair's crazy. And if I could have it 5 different colors, I would. And I have multiple tattoos all over my body. Um, but they usually do not show work unless I'm wearing something a little low cut because I do have one, the chest piece right there. But when I'm at my work and I'm doing my job, this is what you see. And it's not fair that people judge us on how we look. It is not fair that they judge us on that first gut look, but they do. And unfortunately, that's human nature and that is the way it is. So, as unfair as it is, and I'll be the first person to fuss about it, um, I have come to learn over many years and many job interviews and being on the other end of it and doing hiring and management and supervision that it does make a difference. Even for those of us who are like, don't judge me, and that's not fair. We still do it. We still do it when we're looking for job candidates. It's just a fact of life because you got to hire the best candidate you can, right? You want the best for your company that you can get. So you're going to look for that best person. So you want to put that best foot forward from jump. Yeah. Wonderful question. Wonderful question. All right. Well, that's all I got for today. And y'all, I'm sorry. I really do try to keep the labs at about 30 minutes. And I'm like, one slide, we'll run through that and it'll be fine. And I end up talking for an hour. So I'm sorry about that. But Michelle, thank you for joining me today and giving me your time. I really appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you too.
No problem, ma'am. My pleasure. And you have a great evening. And I'm sure I will see you on Tuesday.
Oh yes, I will do my best.
All right, sweetie. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye bye.
Bye.